Disclaimer: this is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before putting your money to work. With that out of the way, let's have some fun and enjoy the episode. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Rich Off Games podcast. This is episode 28. It's your boy CP checking in back in with y'all. Hope y'all are having a great Monday. Happy Money Mondays. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody listened to that Drake album. Matter of fact, albums, because it was 3, not 1. Surprise, surprise. Comment below y'all favorite album or favorite song off the album. Me personally, I like the Habibi album. I'm not pronouncing that right because it's Habibi something, but Hobby something. I like that one the best. He was in his singing mode in that one, personally. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know which ones y'all like. And without further ado, let's get right to it. Before we get started, though, I want to just touch on a few things and make sure that you guys are in the right mind frame before we get to this episode. I want to make sure that you all remember to reach for the impossible and reach for the stars. When you're chasing your dreams, when you're chasing your goals, when you're trying to pursue whatever it is you're trying to pursue, aim for the highest target possible. Because you have to leave it all out on the floor. When you're an athlete, you have to leave it all out on the basketball court as a basketball player. You have to leave it all out on the field as a football player. You have to leave every ounce of energy, effort, and time put into that thing in order to receive the greatest result possible. What is that result? I don't know. But if you show up and you put in every single ounce of energy you have in your body into that thing, and you're working towards that result, you're not only putting yourself in the possibility to achieve that result, but you're also putting yourself in the frame of mind to do the things that nobody else has done and receive the things that not many people receive. So reach for the stars, aim for the impossible, and do whatever it takes to get that desired outcome. Today we're going to discuss 5 things you can do today to get started on your investment journey. A lot of people want to start investing. A lot of people want to start their own business. A lot of people want to do these things to be self-employed, but they don't know where to start. So the first thing that you can do in order to get started is learn. Knowledge is power, and learning is the fundamental key factor in your success in your journey and what you're trying to pursue. So learning the things that apply to what it is you're trying to do will help you get further along in your journey. Whether it's learning to be a doctor, learning to have a business, providing services for doing financial services, doing hair, cosmetology, doing entertainment, whatever the business is, learn as much as you can about the thing that you're trying to do before getting started. You can pick up a book and learn today. I have different ebooks and informational videos on investing and how to get started investing and how to get started day trading that you can go look up today. You can go look at YouTube. There's so many different ways to consume knowledge in today's day and age. So learning is the number one thing that you can do in order to get started on your investment journey. Number 2 thing you can do in order to get started is to hurry up and take action. A lot of people get complacent and uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. They get nervous at the thought of doing something other than what they've already been accustomed to doing. Hurry up and take action. Don't overthink the little things when it comes to starting your journey in creating your own business and investing and learning something new that you do not normally do. Hurry up and take action. The longer you wait to do it, the more likely it is you won't end up starting to do that thing. I hope you guys are hearing me. The longer you wait to start doing the thing is the more likely it won't end up happening. Hurry up and take action. Don't wait and hesitate on the little things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of the idea. Do the things that have the most impact sooner than later. All right? Hurry up and take action. I cannot express that enough. Number 2 goes along with number 3, creating the foundation in order to get started. Having the business structure, having the business bank account, having the brokerage account, having the things you need in place in order for you and your business and your investment idea to thrive and to do well. You have to have the foundational pieces needed and required in order for your thing to work. Because without an engine to a car, there's no way the car can start. Without gas to the car, there's no way the gas can go. You have to have the fundamental foundational pieces in your business set up in order for it to even properly work and be sustainable long term. So having, as I mentioned, the business LLC registered with the state, having the business bank account, having the business brokerage account, having the articles of organization, the plan of action, having the little things that matter the most in the first starting phases to get started out are what you need to establish first. After that, that's when you can then pursue the products, pursue the services, pursue the business once you've established the little things, once you've established the foundation, once you've poured the cement and laid the grounding, now you can build on top of that grounding. You don't want to build a house on mud. That's why you'll have mudslides. You don't want to build a house with unstable foundation. You want to have a stable foundation, a solidified foundation, and a foundation that is sturdy enough to withstand anything. All right, so 1 through 3, learn, hurry up and take action, create a foundation. Number 4, we have network like there's nothing else you have available to you as far as resources. Network, 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 network. Your network equals your net worth. The relationships you create with your consumers, the relationships you create with other businesses, the relationships you create for your business are going to be what dictates and determines the valuation of what your idea is worth. The more people you network to, the more people you connect with, the more people you build relationships with will help you grow your valuation on your idea and your IP. Without a strong network, without a strong relationship base with customers and consumers and businesses, it's very, very, very unlikely that your business will be of high value. You have to create a strong network of people and resources that you can have supporting your idea, supporting your business, supporting the thing that you're doing. And that starts with simply going out to different engagements, different events that align with what your idea is in, and creating those relationships. A simple, hey, how's it going? This is what I do. This is what I provide. Boom, boom, boom. Connect, get the contact information, provide the service. Rinse and repeat. It takes simply going out there, taking the action, hurrying up and taking the action to get in the faces of the people that you need to be in front of to provide the service or to provide the business. You have to network. You have to grow clientele. You have to build a client base. You have to build relationships with people who align with what you're trying to provide a service for or provide a business for. Not only that, you also need to create a network of people that can work for you, employees. You need to have a team of people who you can rely on and count on day in and day out, each and every day, to show up and do their job. If you don't have people like that in your circle, you need to find those people. Otherwise, you won't be able to create something that's sustainable enough because you can't do everything by yourself. You have to have a team. You have to have a group of people who come together and help you create something that's bigger than you and them. Think about all the NBA championship teams, Golden State Warriors. They went back to back, not off just Steph Curry, but also key pieces like Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, the coach Steve Kerr, the GMs, all these different pieces coming together to create something that is sustainable and a well-working machine that produces championships. You have to create a great network of people around you. Last and final thing that you can do when getting started on your investment journey is start and don't finish. Show up every day with the same energy, with the same mentality, with the same motivation, with the same consistent input each and every day, regardless of the result. Whether good or bad, whether up or down, regardless of the result, you got to show up. If you don't, you will not see the result that you are desiring to seek. So you must show up each and every day. Rain, sleet, snow, thunderstorm, hurricane, it does not matter. You must show up each and every day and execute. However you have your schedule set up, show up on that set day, on that set schedule, regardless of how you feel, regardless of if you woke up with a headache, regardless of all the different things, because you got to understand this. We all have the same 24 hours. The things you're doing with the 24 hours you're given will dictate and determine your success in the thing that you're pursuing. So if you're not showing up every single day with the same energy, the same input, the same execution, you're not going to win. You're not going to get the result that you want. And that's just the reality of it. You have to show up. You have to put in the work. You have to execute and stay disciplined on your journey, regardless of whether the results you get are good or bad. Because over time, those bad results will then convert to good results. And as the good results start to come in, then you have the good results that you want, and they start to compound. As they start to compound, you start to see bigger and better results. As you see bigger and better results, your life then changes and elevates. But it doesn't happen without taking the losses and taking the L's first. So hopefully this is just a few things that you guys can do to get started. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Here's today's trading tip of the week. Stop rushing the process. You're getting caught up in all the manipulation, the accumulation, the distribution and the accumulation. You're getting caught up in all these different ranges of the market at the wrong times, simply due to you not being patient enough. You trying to rush the process and see the instant result of being a millionaire. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen all within one trade. As much as you want it to, that's not the reality. Given where you're at right now, it's just not. You have to slow down, take your time, breathe, have self-control, all right? Relax. The market's not going anywhere. It's open every Monday through Friday, sometimes Sunday. If you trade futures, it's not going anywhere. You have plenty of time to get it right. You're not going to get it right if you continue to rush the process. The more and more you continue to rush the process, the more and more you try to rush the results, is the more and more you're going to continue to set yourself back further and further and further. Slow down, take your time, be patient. I promise you, if you do that, you will see different results. If you guys want more tips and tricks about day trading and investing, make sure to click the link in the bio, www.continuebelief.com. I share a lot of free resources and tools, tips and tricks about how to day trade, how to get started investing, and so much more. So make sure you guys check out the link in the bio. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to leave a like and follow. And yeah, see you guys later. You got to get out of your own head. You got to get out of your own way. You're constantly holding yourself back from achieving the successful results that you want to see, the payouts, the insane, massively growth returns, all the great gains that you see others have. You're not getting simply due to the fact that you're comparing yourself to them and trying to rush what they have in your approach and your process. They didn't do the same thing that you're doing to get that result, that return. We don't know how long it took that person to get that result or that return, or that even, let alone that payout. It could have took them years to get that one payout. It could have took them months. It could have took them days. Who knows? But your process and your journey is different. So you have to slow down and take your approach day by day, step by step, and use a brick by brick mentality, meaning you got to build onto what you're doing each and every day and let it compound. If you can maintain and stay on top of the things that you're doing every day, where you're not losing what you make the day before. So if you make 100 one day, then the next day you make another 100, now you have 2. The next day you make another 100, now you have 3. But if you lose it all in one day, now you're back at 0 because you lost control. You have to stay in control of your process. And the way you stay in control is by taking your time, having self-control, staying disciplined, staying patient. That's it. So today the market had a little bit of a pullback, but we did see a very aggressive bounce going up into the market, going into the later end of the day. And something that I noticed in the market was tech being weak, but service tech, software tech being somewhat strong. Companies like ServiceNow and Microsoft saw a little bit of an upside move going into today's market. So will we see more tech companies start to wake up? Are we seeing the reversal of tech? Is tech now joining the race of overall tech, and the software companies in specific starting to wake up? Because the last few months we've not seen software be as aggressively positive as other tech companies, simply due to the fact that AI was a big fear around a lot of tech companies, software companies specifically, Microsoft, ServiceNow, companies like Adobe. Certain companies I don't think will see a reversal to the upside. I don't think that they won't see any reversal. I think they will see some reversal, but I'm more so focused on the service and software companies that I think will see massive reversals in the market. And the companies that I'm looking at are ServiceNow and Microsoft. Those are the main two. There are others as well, but those are just the main two that are on my radar. ServiceNow saw lows closer to about 80 to 85 bucks. And since then, we've seen, today at least, it went all the way up to about 104, seeing a pretty good return in the market just from being at those previous lows. Microsoft, we have seen it reverse back in April, reaching low as 360 to 350, I believe, and then bouncing back up to about 425 to 430, and currently sitting around that 420 range. So I do think that there's still a lot more room for these companies to wake up and go back to their previous all-time highs, and not only previous all-time highs, but also breaking those all-time highs and reaching into new levels as well. So if you guys want to get in a position that hasn't really taken off yet, because we have seen a lot of companies in tech take off like Apple, Nvidia, AMD, tech software like ServiceNow and Microsoft, those would be two good companies to watch and possibly take positions on, because they still have a lot more room to run. Granted, with this little bit of a pullback we are seeing, the market has been very, very overheated, and you just want to be mindful that if software companies are still weak, we can see some drawdown in those companies as well, simply due to the fact that the overall market is now showing weakness, because we had a little bit of a pullback, as I mentioned today, with a lot of the semiconductor names that have been running really, really, really high. Companies like Nvidia, Micron, AMD, Dell, Intel, like all the semiconductors saw a bit of an aggressive pullback. Not too crazy, but a little bit of a correction and corrective pullback. So just be mindful that we could see more continuing sell-off happen throughout this week, depending upon how NVIDIA reports their earnings. I think that's the main thing that most of the semis are looking to respond from, is how does the number one semiconductor company, the number one company period, report their earnings this week. I think a lot of the market is banking on that, and so that's why we had the sell-off we had today. But it still opens up the window of opportunity for, like I said, tech software. So those are the two that I would definitely say keep an eye out for. And as we're seeing the semiconductor pullback, you can also keep an eye on that as well. Just be mindful, once again, that NVIDIA is reporting earnings. So that's my thoughts on, tech, where we're at right now with the market, and where software is at specifically, because software has been the slept on part of tech that has not seen a lot of upside movement in this year of 2026. So just be mindful of that if you guys want to catch some opportunities. I think that software tech is definitely going to be worth your money. We also have a lot of news circulating around SpaceX and it IPOing in June, I believe mid to late June, if I'm not mistaken. So that is definitely a company that I mentioned earlier this year that will be on my radar as we approach that IPO. Do I think it's worth buying off the IPO? I believe so, but I would not recommend buying all your shares at one time. I would definitely recommend, buying a position, and then, if a possible pullback were to happen, get into a deeper pullback position to then have a better average, because the initial investors and the people who are already invested in the private sector are going to look to take profits, most likely going into the 6 month cap that they have, because they have to hold the public company for at least 6 months, and then after that 6 months point, they can then take profits on their private investments. So after the 6 month mark, see how SpaceX has responded to those sell-offs, if that happens, and then dictate and determine whether or not you want to buy more shares. Me personally, as I mentioned, I definitely do think SpaceX is worth buying. It'll probably IPO somewhere between 1 to 2 trillion, which is the first time ever that we've seen a company IPO at such a high valuation. So that's pretty crazy in itself. And then of course, it's Elon's company. I think that Elon is a very interesting person, and given his history with Tesla and the performance that Tesla's had and his transition that he's making with Tesla, I like Tesla as a company, but I don't like the volatility. And so I think SpaceX will be as volatile, but I just like that we're able to catch it at a somewhat of an earlier time period, given that it's IPO and becoming public this year. I like that more so for a favorable story than Tesla. And just given the history and what the vision around SpaceX is, I support that vision a little bit more than I do the Tesla vision. I'm not against the Tesla vision. I just think that it's a lot more volatile and it's been around a lot longer. Plus, it's still kind of transitioning into becoming a fully robotic, autonomous manufacturer who creates robots and sells robot taxis and services and things of that nature. So I like SpaceX a little bit more for that reason. But Tesla's not a bad investment either. We have been seeing a little bit of upside movement for Tesla as well. I think that's possibly due to SpaceX and having the news that SpaceX has, and also the news around them going to China. The U.S. president and a few of the top CEOs went to China as well, like NVIDIA's CEO, Tesla CEO. I believe Tim Cook went as well, even though he's not CEO of Apple anymore. He just kind of went because he's the face of Apple in a way. So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of movement around Tesla specifically. It did pull back this week, going into this week so far, but I do think that there's still potential upside for Tesla as well. So yeah, that's my thought process on SpaceX and Tesla. Definitely keep your eyes out for SpaceX though, because that's one of the IPOs that will be big for this year of 2026. Also Claude, Anthropic, if they do IPO, I believe they're going to later this year. And then ChatGPT as well. They just won that lawsuit against Elon, which is pretty crazy. I know that was probably something that was lingering over the ChatGPT's head for a little bit, just because, that's a pretty big deal for you trying to go public and then having a lawsuit like that with Elon. Pretty troubling, but glad that it came to a close and it went in their favor. So that should open up more interest in ChatGPT and people buying ChatGPT as well, given that ChatGPT is looked at probably as the Google to our AI development, while Claude is looked at as the Microsoft to our AI development. So, Bill Gates coming in with Microsoft and creating what he created, he provided services to all the different governments around the world, around the country. And so the same thing is happening with Claude. It's becoming more of a business tool, and a lot of businesses are using it. The government also tries to use it as well. And, I think that relationship that they had, it was a little rocky earlier this year, but we don't know where it's at now. So it could progress later in this year. Who knows? It's something to definitely keep an eye out for. But that's how I think I'm perceiving AI manufacturers and the AI large language models with Claude and ChatGPT. Claude looking to be like that Microsoft version of our ecosystem in our for AI, and then ChatGPT looking to be like that Google user. Even though Google has a Gemini, it's just how people perceive it, being used and being looked at in this current time. So definitely a few other companies to definitely keep an eye out for the coming months. But other than that, y'all, I have nothing more to say. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for all those different companies that I mentioned. Tech, software, space exploration. We have a lot of booming companies in there as well. But SpaceX is going to be the number one that probably leads that space, most likely coming out at $1 trillion valuation. It's pretty crazy. But it definitely will probably bring more attention to the overall aerospace and space exploration category for investing. So definitely keep an eye out for that too, because we have been seeing a lot of companies like Rocket Lab, Applied Digital, I believe, is another one, and a few other ones. Space Mobile have seen some pretty massive growth in gains year to date due to the IPO of SpaceX. So definitely keep an eye out for other companies within the sector that you could possibly benefit from investing in today and see a return from as we progress to the IPO. And yeah, other than that, you guys, I hope you all enjoy this episode 28 of the Rich Off Gains podcast. Happy Money Mondays once again. I want to thank God, and just make sure that you guys remember God will not let you lose. As much as you're going through right now, as much as you're dealing with, as much, upset and obstacles that you may be facing right now, these are all just moments in your life that are helping sharpen and create and fine-tune you to be the person that you need to be to handle the responsibilities that you need to handle as time progresses. So just keep that in mind on your journey. Don't let this waver your faith. Don't let this make you lose sight of your goal and the goal that God has blessed you with having. Keep that same mentality and that same focus on the thing that you're trying to pursue, regardless of the results, because no matter what, God will not let you lose. You will overcome these things. You will become the version of yourself that you see yourself becoming, that God has blessed your mind with thinking that you will become. You will become those things and you will receive the results. Just stay the course, stay patient, stay positively faithful, and keep going. With that being said, y'all, episode 28, Rich Off Gains podcast. I'll see you all next week, same time, same place. God bless.